Then those tigers among men, those brothers, the 5 Pandavas, set out for Panchala to behold that country and Draupadi and the festivities. And those tigers among men, those oppressors of our enemies, in going along with their mother, saw on the way numerous Brahmanas proceeding together. And those Brahmanas, who were our Brahmacharis, beholding the Pandavas, asked them, "Where are ye going to? Whence are ye come?" And Yudhishthira replied unto them, saying, "Ye bosom Brahmanas, know ye that we are uttering brothers proceeding together with our mother. We are coming even from a Kakshakra." The Brahmanas then said, "Go ye this very day to the abode of Drupada, in the country of the Panchalas. A great Swayamvara takes place there, on which a large sum of money will be spent. We are proceeding thither. Let us all go together. Extraordinary festivities will take place." The illustrious Yajnasena, otherwise called Drupada, had a doctor risen from the center of the sacrificial altar, of eyes like lotus petals and of faultless features, endowed with youth and intelligence. She is extremely beautiful, and the slender-waisted Draupadi, of every feature perfectly faultless, and whose body emitteth a fragrance like unto that of the blue lotus for 2 full miles around, is the sister of the strong-armed Dhristadyumna, gifted with great prowess, the slayer of Drona, who was born with natural mail and sword and bow and arrows from the blazing fire, himself like unto the second fire. And that doctor of Yajnasena will select a husband from among the invited prince, and we are preparing thither to behold her and the festivities on the occasion like unto the festivities of heaven. And to that Swayamvara will come from various lands kings and princes, who are performers of sacrifice, in which the presents to the Brahmanas are large, who are devoted to study, are holy, illustrious, and of rigid vows, who are young and handsome, and who are mighty warriors and accomplished in arms. Desirous of winning the maiden, those monarchs will all give away much wealth and kind and food and other articles of enjoyment. And taking all they will give away and witnessing the Swayamvara and enjoying the festivities, we shall go where we like. And there will come unto that Swayamvara from various countries actors and bards singing the panegyrics of kings, and dancers and reciters of Puranas, and heroes and powerful athletes. And beholding all these sights, and taking what will be given away, ye illustrious ones, ye will return with us. Ye are all handsome and like unto the celestial. Beholding ye, Krishna, may be chance choose some one amongst ye superior to the rest. This thy brother of might arms and handsome and endowed with beauty, engaged in encounters, may be chance earn great wealth." On hearing these words of the Brahmanas, Yudhishthira replied, "Ye Brahmanas, we all will go with ye to witness that maiden Swayamvara, that excellent jubilee." Thus addressed by the Brahmanas, the Pandavas proceeded towards the country of the Sultan Panchala, ruled over by the King Drupada, and on their way those heroes beheld the illustrious Divayapayana, that Muni of pure soul and perfectly sinless. And duly saluting the Rish, and saluted by him, after their conversation was over, commanded by him, they proceeded to Drupada abode. And those mighty chariot fighter proceeded by slow stages, staying for some time within those beautiful woods and by fine lakes that they beheld along their way, devoted to stud, poor in their practice, amiably and sweet-speeched. The Pandavas at last entered the country of the Panchala, and beholding the capital, as also the fort, they took up their quarters in the house of a potter. Adopting the Brahmanical profession, they began to lead a eleemosynary life, and no man recognized those heroes during their stay in Drupada capital. Yajnasena always cherished the desire of bestowing his daughter on Kiriti, the son of Pandu, but he never spoke of it to anybody. And the king of Panchala, thinking of Arjuna, caused a very stiff bow to be made that was incapable of being bent by any except Arjuna, causing some machinery to be erected in the sky. The king set up a mark attached to that machinery, and Drupada said, "He that will string this bow and with these well-adorned arrows shoot the mark above the machine shall obtain my daughter." With these words, King Drupada proclaimed the Swayamvara. On hearing of them, the kings of other lands came to his capital, and there came many illustrious rich, desirous of beholding the Swayamvara, and there came Duryodhana and the Kurus, accompanied by Karna. There came many superior Brahmanas from every country, and the monarchs who came there were all received with reverence by the illustrious Drupada. Desirous of beholding the Swayamvara, the citizens roaring like the sea, all took their seats on the platform that were erected around the amphitheatre. The monarch entered the grand amphitheatre by the northern eastern gate, and the amphitheatre, which itself had been erected on an auspicious and level plain to the northeast of Drupada capital, was surrounded by beautiful mansions, and it was enclosed on all sides with high walls and moored with arched doorways here and there. The vast amphitheatre was shaded by canopy of various colors, and resounding with the notes of thousands of trumpets. It was scented with the black aloe and sprinkled all over with water mixed with sandal paste and decorated with garlands of flowers. It was surrounded with high mansions, perfectly white, and resembling the cloud-kissing peaks of Kailasa. The windows of those mansions were covered with networks of gold. The walls were set with diamonds and precious stones. The staircases were easy of ascent, and the floors were covered with costly carpets and cloths. All those mansions adorned with wreaths and garlands of flowers and rendered fragrant with excellent aloes, were all white and spotless like unto the necks of swans, and the fragrance therefrom could be perceived from the distance of a yojana, and they were each furnished with 100 doors wide enough to admit a crowd of persons. They were adorned with costly beds and carpets, and beautified with various metals. They resembled the peaks of the Himavat, and in those 7-storied houses of various sizes dwelt the monarch invited by Drupada, whose persons were adorned with every ornament, and who were possessed with the desire of excelling on another. and the inhabitants of the city and the country who had come to behold Krishna and taken their seats on the excellent platform erected around beheld seated within those mansions those lions among kings who are endowed with the energy of great souls, and those exalted sovereigns are adorned with the fragrant past of the black aloe. Of great liberality, they were all devoted to Brahma, and they protected their kingdoms against all foes, and for their own good deeds they were beloved by the whole world. The Pandavas too, entering that amphitheatre, sat with the Brahmanas and beheld the unequalled affluence of the king of the Panchala, and that concourse of princes, Brahmanas, and others, looking gay at the performance of actors and dancers, and in which large presents of every kind of wealth were constantly made, began to swell day by day, and it lasted several days, till on the 16th day, when it was at its full, the daughter of Drupada, having washed herself clean, entered amphitheatre, richly attired, and adorned with every ornament, and bearing in her hand a dish of gold, and a garland of flower. Then the priest of the lunar race, a whole Brahmana, conversant with our mantras, ignited the sacrificial fire, and poured on it with due rites libations of clarified butter, and gratifying Agni by these libations, and making the Brahmanas utter the auspicious formula of benediction, stopped the musical instruments that were playing all around, and when that vast amphitheatre become perfectly still, the Hristadyumna, possessed of a voice deep as the sound of kettle drum, or the clowns, taking hold of his sister's arm, stood in the midst of that concourse, and said, with a voice loud and deep as the roar of the clowns, these charming words of excellent import: Ye assembled kings, this is the bow, that is the mark, and these are the arrows. Shoot the mark through the orifice of the machine with these 5 sharpened arrows. Truly do I say that, possessed of lineage, beauty of person, and strength, whoever achieveth this great feat shall obtain today this my sister Krishna for his wife. Having thus spoken unto the assembled monarchs, Drupada's son then addressed his sister, reciting unto her the names and lineage and achievements of those assembled lords of the earth. Duryodhana, Durvishaha, Durmukhiha, Duspradihashana, Vivinsati, Vikarna, Saha, Dusasana, Yuyutsu, Vayuvega, Bhimavegarava, Ugrayudhiha, Valaki, Kanakayu, Virokhana, Sukundala, Hitrasena, Suvarkha, Kanakadivaja, Nandaka, Vahusali, Tuhunda, Vikata, these sister and many other mighty sons of Dhritarashtra, our heroes, accompanied by Karna, have come for thy hand. Innumerably other illustrious monarchs, our bulls among Kshatriya, have come for thee. Sakuni, Sauvala, Virisaka, Virihadivala, the sons of the king Gandhihara, have come. Foremost of all wielders of weapons, the illustrious Asvatihaman and Bihoja, adorned with every ornament, have come for thee. Virihanta, Manimana, Dandadihara, Sahadeva, Jayatisena, Meghihasandhi, Virata with his 2 sons, Sankha en Uttara, waar die hakis hemi, susarma, sena vindu, suketu, with his 2 sons, Sunama and Suvarkha, Sukhitra, Sukumara, Virika, Satyadiriti, Suriyadivaja, Hokhamana, Nila, Hitra Yudhiha, Angisumana, Hekitana, Demike Serenimana, Chandrasena, the Mike son of Samudrasena, Jarasandha, Vidanda, Danda, the father and son Paundraka, Vasudeva, Vihagadatta, and with great energy, Kalinga, Tamralipita, the king of Patana, the Maika warrior Salia, the king of Madra with his son, the heroic Hukimangada, Hukimaratiha, Somadata of the Kuru race with his 3 sons, all chariot fighters and heroes, Bihuri, Bihurisrava, Sala, Sudakishina, Kamboja of the Puru race, Vrihadivala, Sushena, Sivi, the son of Uzinara, Patikharanihanta, the king of Karuzha, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, the mighty son of Hokimini, Samva, Harudesna, the son of Pradyumna, with Gada, Akrura, Satyaki, the high-souled Udihava, Kritavarmana, the son of Hiririka, Pritihu, Viduratiha, Kanka, Sanku, with Gaveshana, Asavaha, Anihudiha, Samika, Sarimejaya, the heroic Vatapi, Jihili, Pindaraka, the powerful Usinara, all these of the Vrishni race, Vihagi Hatiha, Virihatikishatra, Jayadratiha, the son of Sindhihu, Vrihadihatiha, Valhika, the mighty chariot Srutayu, Uluka, Kaitava, Hitrangada, Subhangada, the high intelligent Vachisaraja, the king of Kosala, Sisupala, and the powerful Jarasandha. These and many other great kings, all Kshatriyas, celebrated throughout the world, have come, blessed on, for thee, and with prowess, these will shut the mark, and thou shalt choose him for thy husband, who amongst these will shut the mark. Then those youthful princes, adorned with earrings, vying with one another, and each regarding himself accomplished in arms, and gifted with might, stood up brandishing their weapons, and intoxicated with pride of beauty, prowess, lineage, knowledge, wealth, and youth, they were like Himalayan elephants in the season of rut, with crowns split from excess of temporal juice, and beholding each other with jealously, and influenced by the god of desire, they suddenly rose up from their royal seats, exclaiming, "Krishna shall be mine." And the Kshatriyas assembled in that amphitheatre, each desirous of winning in the daughter of Drupada, looked like the celestial, standing round Uma, the daughter of the king of mountains, afflicted with the shafts of the god of the flowery bow, and with hearts utterly lost in the contemplation of Krishna. Those princes descended into the amphitheatre for winning in the Panchala maiden, and began to regard even their best friends with jealously. And there came the celestials in their cars with the Hudras, and the Adityas, the Vasus, and the twin ass wings, the Sivadihas, and all the Marutas, and Kuvera, with Yama walking ahead. And there came the Daityas, and the Suparnas, the great Nagas, and the celestial Rish, the Guhyakas, and the Kharanas, Visvavasu, Narada, Parvata, and the principal Gandharvas with the Apsaras, and Halayudiha, and Janardana, and the chief of the Vrishni, and the Haka, and the Yadava tribes, who obeyed the leadership of Krishna, were there viewing the scene. And beholding those elephants en route, the five attracted towards Draupadi like marked elephants towards a lake overgrown with lotuses, or like fire covered with ashes. Krishna, the foremost of Yadu heroes, began to reflect. And he said unto Hama, that is Yudhishthira, that is Bhishma with Jisnu, and those are the twin heroes. And Hama, surveying them slowly, cast a glance of satisfaction at Krishna, beating their nether lips in wrath. The other heroes there, sons and grandsons of kings, with their eyes and hearts and thoughts set on Krishna, looked with expanded eyes on Draupadi, alone without noticing the Pandavas, and the sons of Pritha, of might arms, and the illustrious twin heroes, beholding Draupadi, were all likewise struck by the shafts of Kama, and crowded with celestial Rish, and Gandharvas, and Suparnas, and Nagas, and Asuras, Siddhas, and filled with celestial perfumes, and scattered over with celestial flowers, and resounding with the kettle drum, and the deep hum of infinite voices, and echoing with the softer music of the flute, the veena, and the tabor. The cars of the celestials could scarcely find a passage through the firmament. Then those princes, Karna, Duryodhana, Salva, Salia, Asvatihama, Kratiha, Sunitiha, Vakra, the ruler of Kalinga, and Banga, Padilla, Paundra, the ruler of Videha, the chief of Yavanas, and many other sons and grandsons of kings, sovereigns of territories, with eyes like lotus petals, one after another began to exhibit prowess for that maiden of unrivalled beauty, adorned with crowns, garlands, bracelets, and other ornaments, and with might arms, possessed of prowess and vigor, and bursting with strength and energy. Those princes could not, even in imagination, string that bow of extraordinary stiffness. And those kings, in exerting with swelling lips, each according to his strength, education, skill, and energy, to string that bow, were tossed on the ground and lay perfectly motionless for some time. Their strength spent, and their crowns and garlands loosened from their persons, they began to pant for breath, and their ambition of winning that fair maiden was cooled. Tossed but that tall bow, and their garlands and bracelets and other ornaments disordered, they began to utter exclamations of woe. And that assemblage of monarchs, their hope of obtaining Krishna gone, looked sad and woeful, and beholding the plight of those monarchs, Karna, that foremost of all wielders of the bow, went to where the bow was, and quickly raising it, stringed it, soon and placed the arrows on the string. And beholding the son of Surya, Karna of the Sutta tribe, like unto fire, or Soma, or Surya himself, resolved to shoot the mark those foremost of bowmen, the sons of Pandu, he gathered the mark as a red shot and broke down upon the ground. Seeing Karna, Draupadi loudly said, I will not select a suitor for my lord. Then Karna, lodging in Vishachan, and casting a glance at the sun, threw aside the bow already drawn to a circle. Then, when all those Kshatriyas gave up the task, the heroic king of the Hades, marked as Yama himself, the illustrious and determined Sisupala, the son of Damagihosa, and endeavoring to string the bow himself, fell upon his knees on the ground. Then King Jarasandha, endowed with great strength and powers, approaching the bow, stood there for some moment, fixed and motionless, like a mountain. Tossed by the bow, he too fell upon his knees on the ground, and rising up, the monarch left the amphitheatre for his kingdom. Then the great hero Salia, the king of Madra, endowed with great strength, in endeavoring to string the bow, fell upon his knees on the ground. At last, when in that assemblage, consisting of high respectable people, all the monarchs had become subjects of derisive talk, that foremost of heroes, Jisnu, the son of Kunti, desired to string the bow and placed the arrows on the bowstring. When all the monarchs had desisted from stringing that bow, the high-souled Jisnu arose from among the crowd of Brahmanas seated in that assembly, and beholding Partha, possessing the complexion of Indra Vener, advancing towards the bow, the principal Brahmanas, shaking their deer skins, raised a loud clamor. And while some were displeased, there were others that were well pleased. And some there were possessed of intelligence and foresight, who addressing one another said, Ye Brahmanas, how can a Brahmana, stripling unpracticed in arms and weak in strength, string that bow with such celebrated Kshatriyas? Salia and others, endowed with might and accomplished in the science and practice of arms, could not. If he doth not achieve success in this untried task, which he hath undertaken from a spirit of boyish unsteadiness, the entire body of Brahmanas, he will be ridiculous in the eyes of the assembled monarchs. Therefore, forbid this Brahmana that he may not go to string the bow, which he even now desirous of doing from vanity, childish, daring, or mere unsteadiness. Others replied, We shall not be ridiculous, not shall we incur the disrespect of anybody, or the displeasure of the sovereigns. Some remarked, This handsome youth is even like the trunk of a mighty elephant, whose shoulders and arms and thighs are so well built, who in patience looks like the Himavat, whose gait is even like that of the lion, and whose prowess seems to be like that of an elephant in route, and who is so resolute, will, it is probably, accomplish this feat. He has strength and resolution. If he had none, he would never go of his own accord. Besides, there is nothing in the 3 worlds that Brahmanas of all mortal men cannot accomplish. Abstaining from all food, or living upon air, or eating of fruit, persevering in their vows, emaciated and weak, Brahmanas are ever strong in their own energy. One should never disregard a Brahmana, whether his acts be right or wrong. but supposing him incapable of achieving any task that is great or little, or that is fraught with bliss or woe. Hama, the son of Jamadagni, defeated in battle all the Kshatriyas. Agastya, by his Brahma energy, drank of the fathomless ocean. Therefore, say ye, let this youth bend the bow and string it with ease. And many said, so be it. And the Brahmanas continued speaking unto one another these and other words. Then Arjuna approached the bow and stood there like a mountain, and walking round that bow, and bending his head unto that giver of boons, the Lord Isana, and remembering Krishna, he took it up, and that bow which Hukima, Sunitiha, Vakra, Hadiha, Duryodhana, Salia, and many other kings accomplished in the science and praxis of arms could not, even with great exertion, string Arjuna, the son of Indra, that foremost of all persons ended with energy, and like unto the younger brother of Indra, in might, stringed in the twinkling of an eye. And taking up the 5 arrows, he shoot the mark, and caused it to fall down on the ground, through the hole in the machine above which it had been placed. Then there arose a loud uproar in the firmament, and the amphitheatre resounded with a loud clamour, and the gods showered celestial flowers on the head of Partha, the slayer of foes. And thousands of Brahmanas began to wave their upper garments in joy. And all around, the monarchs who had been unsuccessful uttered exclamations of grief and despair, and flowers were rained from the skies all over the amphitheatre. And the musicians struck up in concert. Bards and heralds began to chant in sweet tones the praises. And beholding Arjuna, Drupada, that slayer of foes, was filled with joy, and the monarch desired to assist with his forces the hero if the occasion arose. And when the uproar was at its height, Yudhishthira, the foremost of all virtuous men, accompanied by those first of men, the twins, hastily left the amphitheatre for returning to his temporary home. And Krishna, beholding the mark shoot, and beholding Partha, like unto Indra himself, who had shoot the mark, was filled with joy, and approached the son of Kunti with a white robe and a garland of flowers. And Arjuna, the accomplisher of inconceivable feats, having won Draupadi by his success in the amphitheatre, was saluted with reverence by all the Brahmanas, and he soon after left the list, followed close by her who thus became his wife. When the king expressed his desire of bestowing his daughter on that Brahmana, all those monarchs who had been invited to the Swayamvara, looking at one another, were suddenly filled with wrath, and they said, passing us by, and treating the assembled monarchs as straw, this Draupada desireth to bestow his daughter, that first of woman, on a Brahmana, having planted the tree he cutteth it down when it is about to bear fruit. The wretch regardeth us not, therefore let us slay him. He deserveth not our respect, or the veneration due to age. Owing to such qualities of his, we shall, therefore, slay this wretch that insulteth our kings, along with his son, inviting all the monarchs and entertaining them with excellent food. he disregardeth us at last, in this assemblage of monarchs, like unto a conclave of the celestials. Doth he not see a single monarch equal unto himself? The Vedic declaration is well known that the Swayamvara is for the Kshatriyas. The Brahmanas have no claim in respect of a selection of husband by Kshatriya damsel. Or ye kings, if this damsel desireth not to select anyone of us as her lord, let us cast her into the fire, and return to our kingdoms. As regards this Brahmana, although he hath from officiousness or avarice done this injury to the monarchs, he should not yet been slain. For our kingdoms, lives, treasuries, sons, grandsons, and whatever other wealth we have or exist for Brahmanas, something must be done here, so that from fear of disgrace and the desire of maintaining what properly belongeth unto each order Swayamvara may not terminate in this way. Having addressed on another thus, those tigers among monarchs, endowed with arms like unto spiked iron maces, took up their weapons and rushed at Drupada to slay him then and there. And Drupada, beholding those monarchs, all at once rushing towards him in anger with bows and arrows, sought from fear the protection of the Brahmanas. Those might-born men of the Pandavas, capable of chasing our foes, advanced to oppose those monarchs, rushing towards them impetuously like elephants in the season of rut. Then the monarchs, with gloved fingers and upraised weapons, rushed in anger at the Kuru prince, Bhishma and Arjuna, to slay them. Then the mighty Bhishma, of extraordinary achievements, endowed with the strength of thunder, tore up like an elephant a large tree and divested it of its leaves. And with that tree, the strong-armed Bhishma, the son of Pritha, that grinder of our foes, stood like unto the mace-bearing king of the dead, armed with his fierce mace, near Arjuna, that bull amongst men. And beholding that feat of his brother, Jisnu, of extraordinary intelligence, and himself of inconceivable feats, wondered much, and equal unto Indra himself in achievements, shaking off all fear, he stood with his bow ready to receive those assailants. And beholding those feats of both Jisnu and his brother, Damodara, of superhuman intelligence and inconceivable feats, addressing his brother, Halayudhiha, of fierce energy, said, that hero there, of tread like that of a mighty lion, who draweth the large bow in his hand, 4 full cubits in length, is Arjuna. There is no doubt about this, if I am Vasudeva. That other hero, who, having speedily torn up the tree, have suddenly become ready to drive off the monarchs, is Vrikodara. For no one in the world, except Vrikodara, could today perform such a feat in the field of battle. And that other youth, of eyes like unto lotus petals, of full 4 cubits height, of gait like that of a mighty lion, and humbly withal, of fair complexion and prominent and shining nose, who had a little before left the amphitheatre, is the Dharma son. The 2 other youths, like unto Kartikeya, are, I suspect, the sons of the twin Aswins. I heard that the sons of Pandu, along with their mother, Pritha, had all escaped from the conflagration of the house of Lak. Then Halayudiha, of complexion like unto that of clowns, and charged with rain, addressing his younger brother, said with great satisfaction, I am happy to hear, as I do from sheer good fortune, that our father's sister, Pritha, with the foremost of the Kaurava prince, have all escaped. Then those bulls among Brahmanas, shaking their deer skins in water pots made of coconut shells, exclaimed, Fear not, we will fight the foe. Arjuna, smiling, addressing those Brahmanas, exclaiming thus, said, Stand ye aside as spectators, showering hundreds of arrows furnished with strength points. Even I shall shake, like snakes with mantras, out those angry monarchs. Having said this, the mighty Arjuna, taking up the bow he had obtained as dower, accompanied by his brother Bhima, stood immovably as a mountain, and beholding those Kshatriyas who were ever furious in battle with Karna ahead, the heroic brothers hushed fearlessly at them like two elephants hushing against a hostile elephant. Then those monarchs, eager for the fight, fiercely exclaimed, The slaughter in battle of undesiring to fight is permitted. And saying this, the monarchs suddenly hushed against the Brahmanas, and Karna, endowed with great energy, hushed against Jisnu for fight. And Saliya, the mighty king of Madras, hushed against Bhima like an elephant hushing against another for the sake of a she-elephant in heat, while Duryodhana and others engaged with the Brahmanas, skirmished with them lightly and carelessly. Then the illustrious Arjuna, beholding Karna, the son of Vikartana, advancing towards him, drew his tall bow and pierced him with his sharp arrows. And the impetus of those whetted arrows, furnished with fierce energy, made Hadiheya faint. Recovering consciousness, Karna attacked Arjuna with greater care than before. Then Karna and Arjuna, both foremost of victorious warriors, desirous of vanquishing each other, fought madly on. And such was the likeness of hand they both displayed, that they both became invisible. Behold the strength of my arms. Mark how I have counteracted that fiat. Those the words, intelligibly to heroes alone, in which they addressed each other, and incensed at finding the strength and energy of Arjuna's arms unequalled on the earth, Karna, the son of Surya, fought with great vigor, and firing out those impetuous arrows shot at him by Arjuna, Karna set up a loud shout. And this feat of his was applauded by all the warriors. Then, addressing his antagonist, Karna said, Thou foremost of Brahmanas, I am gratified to observe the energy of thy arms that knoweth no relaxation in battle, and thy weapons themselves fit for achieving victory. Art thou the embodiment of the science of weapons, or art thou Rama, that best of Brahmanas, or Indra himself, or Indra younger brother Vishnu, called Akhyuta, who for disguising himself hath assumed the form of a Brahmana, and mustering such energy of arms, fighteth with me. No other person except the husband himself of Sakhi, or Kiriti, the son of Pandu, is capable of fighting with me when I am angry on the field of battle. Then, hearing those words of his, Pihalguna replied, saying, Karna, I am neither the science of arms, or Hama, endowed with superhuman powers. I am only a Brahmana who is the foremost of all warriors, of all wielders of weapons. By the grace of my preceptor, I have become accomplished in the Brahma and the Paurandara weapons. I am here to vanquish thee in battle. Therefore, hero, wait a little. Thus addressed, Karna, the adopted son of Hadiha, desisted from the fight, for that might chariot fighter thought that Brahma energy is ever invincible. Meanwhile, on another part of the field, the might heroes Salia and Vrikodara, well skilled in battle and possessed of great strength and proficiency, challenging each other, engaged in fight like two elephants en route. And they struck each other with their clenched fists and knees, and sometimes pushing each other forward, and sometimes dragging each other near, sometimes throwing each other down, face downward, and sometimes on the sides. They fought on, striking each other at times with their clenched fists, and encountering each other with blows hard as the clash of the two masses of granite, the least hanging with the sounds of their combat. Fighting with each other, thus for a few seconds, Bhishma, the foremost of the Kuru heroes, taking up Salia on his arms, hurled him to a distance. And Bhishmasena, that bull amongst men, surprised out for talk, he threw Salia on the ground. He did it without hurting him much. And when Salia was thus thrown down and Karna was struck with fear, the other monarchs were all alarmed, and they hastily surrounded Bhishma and exclaimed, Surely these bulls amongst Brahmanas are excellent. Ascertain in what haste they have been born and where they abide. Who can encounter Karna, the son of Hadiha, in fight, except Hama, or Drona, or Kirit, the son of Pandu? Who can encounter Duryodhana in battle, except Krishna, the son of Devaki, and Kripa, the son of Saradivan? Who can overthrow in battle Salia, that first of might warriors, except the hero Valadeva, or Vrikodara, the son of Pandu, or the heroic Duryodhana? Let us, therefore, desist from this fight with the Brahmanas. Indeed, Brahmanas, however offending, should yet be ever protected. And first let us ascertain who these are, for after we have done that, we may cheerfully fight with them. And Krishna, having beheld that feat of Bhishma, believed them both to be the son of Kunti, and gently addressing the assembled monarch, saying, These maidens have been justly acquitted. He induced them to abandon the fight. Accomplished in battle, those monarchs then desisted from the fight, and those best of monarchs then returned to their respective kingdoms, wondering much, and those who came there went away saying, The festive scene have terminated in the victory of the Brahmanas. The prince of Panchala have become the bride of a Brahmana, and surrounded by Brahmanas dressed in skins of deer and other wild animals, Bhishma and Dhananjaya passed with difficulty out of the throng, and those heroes among men, mangled by the enemy and followed by Krishna, on coming at last out of that throng, looked like the full moon, and the sun emerged from the clouds. Meanwhile, Kunti, seeing that her sons were late in returning from their Elemonisar round, was filled with angst. She began to think of various evils having overtaken her son. At one time she thought that the sons of Dhritarashtra, having recognized her children, had slain them. Next she feared that some cruel and strong Rakshasa, endowed with powers of deception, had slain them. And she asked herself, could the illustrious Vyasa himself have been guided by perverse intelligence? Thus reflected Pritha in consequence of her affection for her children. Then, in the stillness of the late afternoon, Vishnu, accompanied by a body of Brahmanas, entered the abode of the potter, like the cloud-covered sun appearing on a cloudy day. Then those illustrious sons of Pritha, on returning to the potter abode, approached their mother, and those first of men represented Yajnaseni unto their mother as the alms they had obtained that day. And Kunti, who was there within the home and saw not her sons, replied, saying, "Enjoy ye all." The moment after, she beheld Krishna, and then she said, "What have I said?" And anxious from fear of sin, and reflecting how every one could be extricated from the situation, she took the cheerful Yajnaseni by the hand, and approaching Yudhishthira, said, "The daughter of King Yajnasena, upon being represented to me by the younger brothers as the alms they had obtained from ignorance, I said what was proper. Enjoy ye all what hath been obtained. Thou bull of the Kuru race, tell me how my speech may not become untrue, how sin may not touch the daughter of the king of Panchala, and how she may not become uneasy." Thus addressed by his mother, that hero among men, that foremost scion of the Kuru race, the intelligent king, reflecting for a moment, consoled Kunti, and addressing the Dhananjaya, said, "By thee, Pihalguna, hath Yajnaseni been won. It is proper, therefore, thou shouldst wed her. Thou withstander of our foes, igniting the sacred fire, take thou her hand with due rites." Arjuna, hearing this, replied, "King, do not make me a participator in sin. Thy behest is not conform ably to virtue. That is the path followed by the sinful. Thou shouldst wed first then the strong-armed Bhima, of inconceivably fiat, then myself, then Nakula, and last of all, Sahadeva, endowed with great activity. Both Vrikodara and myself, and the twins and this maiden, all await, monarch, thy command. When such is the state of things, do that after reflection which won't be proper, and conform ably virtue, and productive of fame, and beneficial unto the king of Panchala. All of us are obedient to thee. Command us as thou likest." Hearing these words of Vishnu, so full of respect and affection, the Pandavas all cast their eyes upon the prince of Panchala, and the prince of Panchala looked at them all, and casting their glances on the illustrious Krishna, those princes looked at one another, and taking their seats, they began to think of Draupadi alone, Indeed, after those princes of immeasurable energy had looked at Draupadi, the god of desire invaded their hearts and continued to crush out their senses. And the ravishing beauty of Pankali, who had been modeled by the Creator himself, was superior to that of all other women on earth. It could captivate the heart of every creature. And Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, beholding his younger brothers, understood what was passing in their minds, and that bull among men immediately recollected the words of Krishna. And the king then, from fear of a division amongst the brothers, addressing all of them, said, "The auspicious Draupadi shall be the common wife of us all." The sons of Pandu, then, hearing those words of their eldest brother, began to revolve them in their minds in great cheerfulness. The hero of the Vrishni race came accompanied by the son of Rohini to the house of the potter, where those foremost of men had taken up their quarters. On arriving there, Krishna and Baladeva beheld seated in that potter house Ajatasattu, of well-developed and long arms, and his younger brothers, passing the splendor of fire, sitting around him. Then Vasudeva, approaching that foremost of virtuous men, the son of Kunti, and touching the feet of that prince of the Ajamida race, said, "I am Krishna." And the son of Rohini, approaching Yudhishthira, did the same. And the Pandavas, beholding Krishna and Baladeva, began to express great delight. And those heroes of the Yadu race thereafter touched the feet of their father's sister. And Ajatasattu, that foremost of the Kuru race, beholding Krishna, inquired after his well-being and asked, "How, Vasudeva, hast thou been able to trace us, as we are living in disguise?" And Vasudeva, smiling, answered, "King, fire, even if it is covered, can be known. Who else among men than the Pandavas could exhibit such might? Ye resisters of our foes, ye sons of Pandu, by sheer good fortune have ye escaped from that fierce fire, and it is by sheer good fortune alone that the wicked son of the Hitarashtra and his counselors have not succeeded in accomplishing their wishes. Blessed be ye, and grow ye in prosperity like a fire in a cave, gradually growing and spreading itself all around. And lest any of the monarchs recognize ye, let us return to our tent. Then, obtaining Yudhishthira leave, Krishna of prosperity knowing no decrease, accompanied by Baladeva, hastily went away from the potter abode. When the Kuru prince were wending towards the abode of the potter, the Hiristadiumna, the Pankhala prince, followed them, and sending away all his attendants, he concealed himself in some part of the potter house, unknown to the Pandavas. Then Bhima, that grinder of all foes, and Jishnu, and the illustrious twins, on returning from their eleemosynary round in the evening, cheerfully gave everything unto Yudhishthira. Then the kind-hearted Kunti, addressing the daughter of Drupada, said, "Amiably on, take thou first a portion from these, and devote it to the gods, and give it away to Brahmanas, and feed those that desire to eat, and give unto those who have become our guests. Divide the rest into 2 halves. Give one of these unto Bhima, amiably on, for this strong youth of fair complexion, equal unto a king of elephants. This hero always eateth much. And divide the other half into 6 parts, 4 to these youths, one for myself, and one for thee. Then the prince, hearing those instructive words of her mother-in-law, cheerful did all that she had been directed to do. And those heroes then all ate of the food prepared by Krishna. Then Sahadeva, the son of Madri, endowed with great activity, spread on the ground a bed of kusa grass. Then those heroes, each spreading thereon his deer skin, laid themselves down to sleep. And those foremost of the Kuru prince lay down with heads towards the south. And Kunti laid herself down along the line of their heads, and Krishna along that of their feet. And Krishna thought she lay with the sons of Pandu on that bed of kusa grass, along the line of their feet, as if she were their nether pylon, grieved not in her heart, or talked disrespectful of those woes amongst the Kurus. Then those heroes began to converse with one another, and the conversations of those princes, each worthy to lead an arm, was exceedingly interesting, they being upon celestial weapons, and cars, and elephants, and swords, and arrows, and battle axes. And the son of the Panchala king listened unto all they said, and all those who were with him beheld Krishna in that state. When morning came, the prince Dhritarhyumna set out from his place of concealment with great haste, in order to report to Drupada in detail all that had happened at the potter abode, and all that he had heard those heroes speak amongst themselves during the night. The king of Panchala had been sad because he knew not the Pandavas as those who had taken away his daughter, and the illustrious monarch asked the Dhritarhyumna on his return, "Where have Krishna gone? Who have taken her away? Have any Sudra or anybody of mean descent, or have a tribute paying? Vaisya, by taking my daughter away, placed his dirt foot on my head. Son, have that wreath of flowers been thrown away on a graveyard? Have any Kshatriya of high birth, or anyone of the superior order, obtained my daughter? Have anyone of mean descent, by having won Krishna, placed his left foot on my head? I would not. Son, grieve but feel greatly happy. If my daughter have been united with Partha, that foremost of men, thou exalted one, tell me truly who have won my daughter today. Are the sons of that foremost of Kurus, Vikravirya son, alive? Was it Partha that took up the bow and shoot the mark?